Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try, your life just doesn't seem to be moving forward? Like there is an invisible barrier between you and everything you want? What if I told you that this barrier is not in the outside world, but inside you? The truth is that most people live as prisoners of their own minds, believing that their limiting thoughts are real. But what if your mind isn't who you really are? Today I'm going to show you how to access something much greater, a creative force that is already within you, just waiting to be awakened. Once you understand this, your life will never be the same. Stay with me to the end because I'm going to reveal what's really blocking your connection to this power and how you can break these chains once and for all. If you've ever felt that there was more to discover, now is the time. Let's go beyond the mind together. Close your eyes for a moment and notice the thoughts that come to mind. Some are worries, others are memories, perhaps even internal criticism. Now ask yourself, who is observing these thoughts? If you can perceive them, then you are not them. So why do most people believe that the mind defines who they are? From birth, we are taught to identify our existence with what we think. We grow up hearing that we must discover who we are, but what we really do is accumulate labels, name, profession, beliefs, opinions. All this builds up a character that we get used to calling me. But this I is not real. It's just a reflection of the mind conditioned by time, experience, and fear. The mind is like a powerful instrument, but an instrument cannot command the one who uses it. However, what I see is that many people have become slaves to their own thoughts. They follow them without question, believing that their inner voice is the absolute truth. But can this voice that judges, that fears, that constantly compares, itself really define who you are? Look at a baby. It doesn't care if it's right or wrong, if it likes you or doesn't like you. It just exists, fully. It doesn't carry guilt, it doesn't fear the future. It lives in connection with something greater, until little by little the mind begins to take control. And then the ego appears, that fabricated identity that makes us feel separate from the world, from God, and from the peace that rightfully belongs to us. The ego feeds on comparison. It makes us look away and measure our worth by others. It convinces us that we have something to prove, something to achieve in order to be happy. But the truth is that this quest never ends, because there is always one more step to climb, one more approval to win. The mind is never satisfied because it wasn't made for that. And that's why so many people live in a state of restlessness. They feel trapped in patterns they haven't consciously chosen, trapped in beliefs that limit their potential. The mind creates stories and makes us believe them as if they were absolute truths. But what if those stories were just an illusion? The key to freedom lies in realizing that you don't have to follow every thought that arises. You can observe them like someone observing clouds in the sky. Some thoughts are useful, some are not. But all of them have power only if you believe in them. When you understand this, you begin to distance yourself from the invisible chains that keep you trapped. Freeing yourself from the illusion of the mind doesn't mean stopping thinking. It means stopping believing that your thoughts control your life. It means realizing that there is something beyond them, something silent, present, and unchanging within you, something that has never been lost, only obscured by the noise of the mind. And it is in that stillness that something greater is revealed. For when the mind quiets down, a new space opens up, and in that space you begin to feel the presence of what has always been there, waiting to be known. Close your eyes again. What do you hear? Perhaps sounds around you, perhaps the whisper of your own mind, trying to fill the space with thoughts. Now try something different. Don't fight the thoughts, just observe them. Notice that they come and go like waves on the sea, but between one wave and the next there is a space, a silent interval. It's in that space that something extraordinary happens. You've felt it before, perhaps in a moment of deep peace when time seemed to disappear and nothing mattered but the now. This is the natural state of your being. It's not an absence of thought, but an absence of identification with it. Most people never experience this stillness because the mind is always in charge, always trying to fill every moment with worries, plans, and memories. It fears silence, because in silence it loses control. But it is in silence that the connection to something greater is revealed. Many seek this connection in words, rituals, and theories. But God is not in the noise of the mind. He is present in the space between thoughts, in the moment when you simply are, without the need to be anything. When you allow the mind to slow down, something profound manifests. A peace that doesn't come from the world, a certainty that doesn't depend on anything external. Imagine a lake. When the surface is agitated, full of waves, you can't see the reflection of the sky. But when the water becomes calm, the reflection becomes clear. So is your mind. When it's turbulent, full of worries and judgments, the truth is hidden. But when there is silence, the truth can finally be seen. Silence is not emptiness, it is fullness. It's where inspiration arises, where wisdom manifests. Great answers come not from the noise of the mind, but from the space between one thought and another. How many times have you tried to solve a problem and only found the answer when you stopped looking? This is because the truth is already within you, but it can only be heard when there is silence to receive it. The modern world teaches us to avoid silence. It distracts us with screens, notifications, and constant stimuli. It makes us believe that being busy is being productive, that thinking non-stop is being smart. But in reality, wisdom doesn't come from thinking too much, but from being able to listen to what's beyond. So try it. Don't try to stop your mind. That only creates more conflict. Just observe. Feel the space between thoughts, that brief moment. When everything dissolves, the more you do this, the more that space expands until it becomes a natural state. And when that happens, something changes. You realize that you don't need answers because the truth is already within you, and it's from that state that everything begins to change. For when you connect with this silent presence, you realize that your reality is not created by what you think, but by the energy you carry within. When everything around you seems meaningless, when problems repeat themselves, when the same difficulties arise again and again, have you ever wondered why? Is life just a series of coincidences, or is there a force that controls everything? The truth is that nothing happens by chance. What you experience on the outside is just a reflection of what is happening on the inside, but most people don't realize that. They believe that reality comes from outside, that they are victims of circumstances, that the world is against them. But what you feel, think, and believe shapes your experience of life. Think of a seed. If you plant an orange seed, you won't get apples. Life follows the same law. Your intentions, thoughts, and emotions are seeds that you plant in the invisible soil of existence, and sooner or later they will bear fruit. If there is fear, lack, or guilt within you, it will manifest around you in different ways. Difficult relationships, financial difficulties, insecurity. But if there is trust, peace, and gratitude within you, your reality begins to reflect that. That's why some people get stuck in repetitive cycles. They try to change the outside world without realizing that the problem was never there, but what they carry inside. Imagine someone who lives suspiciously, always expecting to be cheated. They look at others with suspicion, interpret innocent gestures as threats, and unconsciously attract situations in which they are actually harmed. This is because their energy projects this expectation onto the world. The universe doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you fear. It only responds to what you vibrate, and this is true of everything. If you want abundance but live in fear of lack, life will reflect that lack. If you want love but fear rejection, you end up creating barriers instead of connections. What's inside you is what manifests around you. So how do you change this? The first step is awareness. Observe what you feel, what you believe, what unconscious patterns guide your choices, and instead of fighting the outer reality, transform your inner energy. For when you change from within, everything around you begins to align naturally. This doesn't mean that challenges go away, but rather that you stop creating resistance. You begin to see that every experience is there to teach you, that every obstacle has a purpose. And when your energy is aligned with what you really want, doors begin to open effortlessly. Opportunities appear where you least expect them. And it's in this state that you begin to realize something even greater. That your life is not just a series of random events, but a dance between you and the creative force that inhabits everything. And the more you understand this connection, the clearer the next step becomes, letting go of your blocks and accessing that power within. If you've ever felt afraid of failure, if you've ever doubted yourself or your path, know that you are not alone. Fear and doubt have been humanity's greatest prisons, preventing many from awakening to the truth of who they truly are. But now, I ask you, what if fear wasn't real? What if doubt was just a veil covering what has always been within you? Fear is not created by anything external. It is born in your mind, fed by the stories you tell yourself. It projects future scenarios that don't exist yet, based on past experiences that are long gone. But what if, instead of letting it control your life, you started to question it? Think of all the times you've feared something that never happened. How many nights have you wasted worrying about problems that never materialized? How many opportunities have you missed because you believed the voice of fear that told you couldn't do it? And now I ask you, where are those fears today? They're gone, but you're still here. So why continue to listen to something that has already proven to be an illusion? Doubt works the same way. It tells you that you don't know enough, that you're not ready, that you need more certainty before you act. But the truth is that life doesn't happen in certainty. It happens in trust. No bird expects to know how to fly before it spreads its wings. It simply trusts what is already within. There is a power within you that has never left you. Something that has always been there, but has been obscured by the noise of the mind. This power doesn't come from the world, it doesn't depend on circumstances. It is your connection to the creative source, to the infinite intelligence that moves everything. When you access this power, fear loses its power, doubt dissolves, for you realize that you were never alone. But how do you access this power? First, you have to realize that it is already within you. There is nothing to look for on the outside. Inner stillness, surrender, trust. These are the keys. When you stop fighting life and start flowing with it, something changes. You feel an invisible support, an unshakable certainty that comes not from the mind but from the heart. And when that happens, you realize that you don't have to control everything, that life has always supported you, even when you couldn't. See it? You begin to act not out of fear but out of faith, and then the impossible becomes possible. This power is within each of us, waiting to be recognized, but to access it, you must let go of the chains that bind you to the past and to the false limitations of the mind. For when you finally break free, a new path opens up before you, and that's when you begin to see life in a completely different way. Because you're no longer trying to survive, you're ready to create. Now that you've begun to see that fear and doubt are not real, a new understanding becomes possible. If they were never the truth, then what is? If you are not your mind, not your limitations, not your insecurities, then who are you? You are the creative force itself in action. But many people still don't understand this. They look at life and believe that they are just pieces on a board, subject to chance, circumstance, the will of others. What they don't realize is that at every moment they are creating their own reality. Everything around them began inside someone else. A house, before it was built, was an idea. A song, before it was played, was born in the heart of its composer. A new path, before it was taken, was imagined by someone who believed in it. Everything that exists was created by someone who dared to believe before he saw. And it's the same with you. Your experiences, your encounters, your opportunities are all a reflection of what you vibrate. It's not just about positive thinking, it's about something much deeper. It's about alignment. When you align with the truth of who you are, when you trust, when you act without fear, your life is transformed. So why do so many people seem unable to manifest what they want? Because they are still stuck in old ways of thinking. They want change, but they're still vibrating scarcity. They want abundance, but are afraid of lack. You want love, but you carry the belief that you are not enough. And life does not respond to what you want, but to what you are. So how do we change this? How do we manifest miracles? The answer is not to try harder, but to let go. Letting go of the struggle and allowing yourself to flow. When you stop trying to control and simply surrender to the certainty that everything is already taken care of, a space opens up. And it is in that space that the impossible happens. Miracles are not rare occurrences. They are the natural state of a mind aligned with the creative source. When you trust, when you stop resisting, when you open up to receive, they become part of your life. The problem is that many people don't realize that they themselves are blocking this flow. They try, not realizing that it is this constant trying that creates the barrier. Creation doesn't happen through effort. Creation happens in surrender. The moment you let go of the need for control, something greater takes over. And then, without warning, the phone rings with an unexpected opportunity. The person you were meant to meet appears. The answer you've been looking for just shows up. But for this to happen, you have to allow it. You have to let go of the fear, let go of the doubt, let go of the need to know how everything is going to turn out. Because true manifestation doesn't come from the mind. It comes from faith. And when you finally understand that, a new question arises. If everything is already taken care of, why continue to carry the weight alone? If everything is taken care of, why do so many still live in fear? If there is a power that sustains everything, why do people cling to the need for control? The answer is simple, because the human mind has learned to trust only what it can see. It wants proof before it believes. But trusting the divine is not about waiting for guarantees. It's about taking a step in the dark, knowing that the ground will appear beneath your feet. Have you ever noticed that when you relax and let things flow, they just happen? A problem that seemed unsolvable suddenly finds a solution. A door that seemed closed suddenly opens. This is not chance, it's the power of the divine flow at work in your life. But to access it, you must have faith. Many people say they have faith, but they live in fear. They say they have faith, but try to control every detail. True trust has no fear. It doesn't question, it doesn't resist, it doesn't demand proof, it just knows. But how do you get to that state? How do you stop fighting and truly surrender? First, you have to realize that you have never been in control. All the times that life has taken an unexpected turn, all the changes that have happened without warning, all the times that something greater has guided your steps. All of this has been a reminder that there is a higher intelligence guiding everything. Trusting in the divine doesn't mean crossing your arms and waiting. It means acting with the assurance that you are not alone. It means doing your best, knowing that the rest will be taken care of. It means moving forward, even when you can't. See the whole path because you know it's already prepared. Many people think that trust is an act of passivity, but the opposite is true. Trust requires courage. The courage to let go of control, to give up the need to know what will come next, to move forward with no guarantees, only the certainty that there is something much greater behind each step. And when you finally let go, something happens. Life reorganizes itself in ways you never imagined. Weight disappears, answers appear, opportunities arise. Because trusting the divine isn't about expecting things to happen the way you want them. Two, it's about allowing them to happen in the best possible way. So I ask you, why continue to carry burdens that aren't yours? Why keep trying to solve everything on your own when the whole universe is conspiring in your favor? The only thing that stands between you and peace is the belief that you have to control everything. But when you let go, when you truly surrender, peace simply comes, and it's in that state that everything changes. Because now you don't just believe in the divine. You are living that truth. You are not alone. You never were. The power that created. Everything that exists is pulsing within you, waiting to be recognized. Nothing needs to be forced. Nothing needs to be feared. The only thing that stands between you and wholeness is the illusion that there is something out there to look for. But now you know. Now you've seen beyond the mind. Now you understand that your life doesn't have to be a struggle. That fear has no power, that doubt is just an echo of the past. Everything you need is here now, so stop holding on, stop fighting, let go, trust. Surrender to that which has always sustained you. For when you do, life responds, the path opens, the impossible becomes possible, and remember, you are not small. You are not weak. You are the living expression of the creative force. You are the manifestation of the divine in human form. What is within you is greater than any obstacle, any fear, any limitation. Now walk. Live this truth. Walk without fear. Trust without hesitation. For when you do, you don't just find peace. You become peace, and may this truth go with you. May the light illuminate your footsteps. May the peace that dwells within you manifest in all that you do. And may you never forget, you already are and always have been free. May your path be illuminated, and may you discover the peace that dwells within you.